Hi, I'm Kelly Folk.
I'm Zach Johnson, and we're here with Jack from Hooligans. How you doing, Jack?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
We're doing great. And we're just going to ask you some questions, kind of lightning round style, really fast, and get some information about everything that you're doing with your tremendous success with your company.
So first off, what made you want to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so entrepreneurship allows creativity, allows you to develop something. It allows you to brainstorm, come up with a concept, and just put it in action. And that's what I like to do. I like to create. And so I fell in the entrepreneurship major because I figured it would give me an opportunity to flex that creativity. And that's been the best decision that I've made so far. In our major, there's a bunch of other people who are just like that, who just are hungry to make something happen. And so that's really why I fell in entrepreneurship. I also I don't know how to phrase this without sounding
Go for it.
without sounding like revolutionary. I don't really like to be told like what to do. I like to be able to do my own thing, be who I am, and create my own thing. I'm not really good at being like a yes man, you know? And so entrepreneurship allows you that sort of lifestyle where you can develop your own and work for yourself. And that's my end goal, is just to do what makes me happy and thrive. So
Same here.
Perfect. And so you talked a little bit about how you're not a yes man. I think that speaks maybe that was part of your upbringing or something like that. But what can you tell me just like something about your background that led you to want to say, okay, you know, I'm going to start a business? Because obviously the opportunity was there. What led you to want to like take the opportunity? Like,
So it's going to take a little backstory here. I came to Florida State for the film school.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so completely
All over the place, folks.
completely opposite of entrepreneurship. At least that's what you would think at first. But for me, you know, I enjoy life, and I like to discuss life, and I like to try and project like my viewpoints to other people, so that other people can understand where I'm coming from. And maybe we can all like actually have a dialogue about, you know, just sort of important things that I think occur in daily life. And so through film, you're able to do that. You're able to project your message to a larger audience.
Right.
But what I found is that when I didn't get into the film school, I applied to entrepreneurship because I figured it would sort of fuel that creativity that I have.
Right.
And through entrepreneurship, you're able to do the same thing. Through Hooligans, I've been able to tell that same story that I wanted to tell through film. It's just a different media, if that makes any sense.
That's a really cool way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's you can take anything that you want, any task you want, and make it entrepreneurial. And you know, really the difference between film and entrepreneurship, I found really aren't that different, because you still use a media like a camera,
Right.
you know what I mean, to try and depict your viewpoints. So there isn't a lot of difference when you really break it down. And so, yeah, I don't know. I hope that sort of answered your question. Through Hooligans, I'm able to tell that story again.
So through Hooligan, or I guess, so when you started out in the entrepreneurship major, I'm sure you had lots of ideas. What made you pick Hooligans as the one to focus on?
Yeah, so we initially, I got to back up at the beginning of class. My partner Will Jones and I wanted to do a recycling company. Because we're both really pro environment, really want people to, you know, reuse, recycle, sort of jump on board to more of like sustainable practices. But we had difficulty creating a business model around that. And so then I fell into a group with Will, Miles, and Indigo, and at first we were discussing creating longboards. Just because, I don't know, we like skating. It seemed like a fun thing to do, and we had a cool concept for a skateboard that could collapse in half. So like when you're on campus, you have to like lug around your whole like skateboard.
That'd be really
You
cool.
collapse it in half and sort of like
Where's it
slide
at,
in your
man?
backpack.
Yeah, what happened
Coming
to that?
soon. And so that was like that was my second idea. But then we decided that it's just the barriers to entry in that were a lot. None of us are engineers, and so Miles has a lot of history in apparel. His mother owns boutiques, and he's grown up living in boutiques and working in boutiques and just selling, and apparel was a large part of their business. And so through that, he learned a lot about apparel. He went to a bunch of trade shows growing up. He was familiar with the industry. And so we figured that the best way for us to launch a brand, which could eventually become that collapsible longboard idea.
Right.
The easiest way to launch that brand to begin with would be through clothes. Because it's lower barrier to entry. Anyone can print a t-shirt if they want to. We figured, you know what? If anyone can do it, we can do it.
Right.
So we did it. We did. We printed a lot of them too. That's really how the process went as to how we came in with Hooligans. Story of how we came up with the word Hooligans is Indigo one night was with her girlfriend, and they stole like a stop sign, and they took it home. And she
hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically, yes, thank you. I plead the fifth. She brought the stop sign home, threw it on the ground, and it was just like, we're a bunch of fucking hooligans. And then her roommate was like, yo, you should like draw that or like write that down. I mean, Indigo's a great artist. So like she drunkenly like sketched out like our logo, what you see.
Right.
And she brought that to school the next day, and we all looked at it and were just like, let's fucking do that. That's awesome. We're all hooligans, so let's go with it. So yeah, that's some of the background for us.
Wow.
That's awesome. And so besides stealing stop signs, hypothetically stealing stop signs, what are some of the obstacles and like the risks? Because obviously you're right, that business model is very easy to get into. But what are the risks that you've run into with doing that?
Yeah, so I mean, there's money on the line whenever you. At first, we only got 72 shirts printed, right? Cost us around $700 ish. That's a lot of money to put into printing stuff you don't even know people like.
Right.
Thankfully, we sold those, but then the further that we go into the process, the more shirts we order at once. And so there's a risk of us all being like, oh, this design is gonna sell. That's going to sell. So you buy a bunch of them, and then if it doesn't work, then you're sitting on a bunch of inventory.
Right.
Illiquid cash. It's an asset that you got to try and sell. And so the risk is that you invest a lot of money into a bunch of designs that people don't like. So thankfully we haven't really ran into that issue very frequently. But that is one obstacle that you have to overcome. The other one is that guerrilla marketing tactics work really well. But
what exactly do you mean by that?
Stickers.
Okay.
So stickers are one of them. I'm not going to discuss a couple of the other ones, but the stickers were really big for us. It created a lot of brand recognition for us during our first year. Everyone knew what Hooligans was because it was everywhere. Across the entire campus. You could not see it. But then we ran into a roadblock with the university. The services were tired of taking our stickers down from everywhere, and so we had to pivot some of our marketing strategy.
Right.
And so just another obstacle to overcome. I mean, of course, when you're working in retail, you got to sell. And so selling's hard. You have to it takes hustle. You got physical energy to go out there and hustle people and develop strategies for it. So. Those were three of the biggest obstacles for us.
So in the beginning, obviously you did stickers, you bought the shirts. What were some of the key activities you did to get this off the ground?
Yeah, so key activities were developing a partnership with a printer that we could trust. And so getting a trustworthy printer for the right price is a delicate sort of balance.
Right.
You don't want to pay too much, but you also want to have the best quality. So kind of walking that tightrope. It's crucial. Let's see, can you repeat the question again?
Basically, what were some of the activities you did in the beginning or the actions you took that really got this thing rolling?
Yeah, so honestly, it took a lot of going to Market Wednesday and just harassing people. I mean, people had to know what we were about. People had to know what a hooligan was.
Yeah.
And that just takes a lot of feet on the ground, boots on the ground, just going out and hustling people. Talking to everyone that you can about it. I mean, if you have an idea and you have a business that you want to launch, you better be talking to every fucking person that you walk into about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, seriously, you can't be bashful, and I had an issue with that at first. Believe it or not, I wasn't a really in your face kind of like, hey, like fucking Hooligans movement, you know, it's awesome, check us out. I wasn't like that, but you have to develop that.
Yeah, if you don't tell anybody about it, how are they gonna know?
Exactly. And then, you know, like people are a wealth of information. If you don't tap into that and ask them questions and tell them about your business idea, then you don't get their feedback. It's just waiting there, you know, right behind the surface. And so, talking to as many people as we could really helped us out a lot near the beginning. We also entered a trade show.
Okay. Was it local or?
No, it's in Orlando. It's the biggest trade show for surf and skate in the world. And so we were there with Vans, Alba Boards, Maui Gym, Pelagic, just like all these Zoomies, like all these just big like brands and companies like, are there like buying and selling, and it's just like this really awesome experience. But that got us into stores down the East Coast, Massachusetts, and North Carolina, and then West Palm Beach, and so those are some of
the main things that you did.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Right. And that was almost like once you got that, that opens up an entire new world for you. That's awesome.
Yeah. That really helped get us off the ground.
To be able to get there, did you have like any connections? Anybody help you out to get into that sort of event, or?
It cost a lot of money, so we had to sell a lot of shirts first. And so with Hooligans, you know, we took $700 from our professor, bought shirts, sold them. From that, we've just been reinvesting. Sell shirts, reinvest into better shirts. Sell those shirts, reinvest in a trade show, and then more shirts. You know, and so it's just all the money we get in, we put back out. We're not taking our own money and putting it in. We just taken that $700 and just built off of it.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's and Miles reached out to the guy who runs the Surf Expo in Orlando, developed a relationship with them. Relationships are, you know, everything. And so, you know, that relationship helped get us a spot there in Surf Expo, but it cost money too. So that's the biggest factor getting in there.
So then, I guess I was almost done, right?
I want to know if you had any advice, like basically, what is the most important thing you would tell yourself when you were just starting? Like, what have you learned that if you could go back?
Why are you successful? Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. And honestly, going back in time, I wouldn't tell myself anything because, you know, like you have to learn from experience. You just get out there and do something. You get out there, maybe you fail. You know, fuck it. I mean, that's like how you grow.
Right.
You know, bad things turn you into a better person. And so learning on your own by going out and doing, you know, just like, I have a cool idea. Let me talk to my friend about it. Oh, my friend thinks it's a cool idea too. Let me talk to my professor about it. My professor thinks it's a good idea. I'm going to go out and do something. I'm not going to talk about it for 6 months and try and come up with this perfect plan because nothing's ever going to be fucking perfect.
So basically, like, some good advice for like an entrepreneur just starting is don't be afraid to just get out there and do it, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah, and that's super cliche, but it's
true.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. I know you could have got that from a Gary Vee fucking podcast, but it's
easy to say and harder to do though.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, really, you just have to get the gumption to do it and.
Just be a hooligan.
Yeah.
Just be a fucking hooligan, exactly. That's the bottom line here. But really though, it's like you don't really know what you're capable of until you push yourself to do things you didn't think you did. I never thought I would own a clothing brand, you know, and run it. Like, I'm not a consumer, you know, I'm not into like fashion that much, but I kind of fell into it and I fell in love with it, and it's fun. And I've learned so much, and I've developed so much as a person through it. You know, I've met so many people through it, and so, you know, even if Hooligans isn't making me a multi-millionaire, you know, like that kind of experience is vital for growth. And so, as you know, as an entrepreneur, you gotta fail first before you can succeed. And if you're that one entrepreneur who succeeds the first time, then great,
Go you.
You know, that's awesome. But it starts with just, you know, starting, you know. gotta believe in yourself, even if you haven't done anything in the past. Okay, who cares? I was a fucking film student.
Not even.
Yeah.
You didn't get into the
Not-
film.
I
Oh
didn't
my
even
God,
get into
nice.
film school.
You weren't
Exactly.
even a film student. Oh my gosh.
I wasn't. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Jack.
Thanks so
and-
much, man.
No problem. Anytime. I hope this was helpful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Look. Also, if you
How do you
want,
pause
I
this one?
have
So-